was primarily a man's business, but liberty was everybody's business. If it was a woman's world too, it was also their world war.
Even before World War II was America's war, the country's defense boom was on the move.
I should like to see this nation geared up to the ability to turn out at least 50,000 planes a year.
While war raged in Europe, President Franklin Roosevelt made no illusions that the United States would remain an idle onlooker.
We have come to realize that the greatest attack that has ever been launched against freedom of the individual is nearer the Americas than ever before. We must prepare beforehand for the simple reason that preparing later may and probably would be too late.
Production of war munitions became a top priority. Defense contracts went out to industrialists around the country, in particular, auto manufacturers. On March 28, 1941, about 30 miles southwest of Detroit, Michigan, workers began clearing land for what would become one of the country's most prolific aircraft production factories, Ford Motor Company's Willow Run. Willow Run occupied some 3.5 million square feet. It was a striking facility, and once the U.S. was dragged into World War II, it became a model of wartime production.
The world's mightiest bomber plant is rolling. Henry Ford welcomes British and U.S. war supply heads Oliver Littleton and Donald Nelson. The schedule, one bomber every hour.
To keep that schedule, Willow Run and every other munitions plant in the United States needed manpower, something that was in increasingly short supply, as more and more men were called to fight in Europe and the Pacific. But this dilemma wasn't without a solution.
No nation on earth could draft enough men to win a total war. American women were ready with the answer.
At the present time, it is of paramount importance that the women and girls of our country be given training so that they may do their share in the war emergency.
Women provided the U.S. workforce, taking on roles previously unavailable to them, building planes, ships, guns, bombs, and bullets.
A year ago, these girls made automobile tires. Today, they inspect some of the 1,500 precision parts that go into the making of Bofors anti-aircraft guns.
Their efforts were undeniably essential. And to maintain the steady flow of labor, the government launched an aggressive recruitment campaign, the star of which was a character named Rosie the Riveter. Rosie quickly became a symbol of female empowerment. She filled posters, magazines, newspapers, even motion pictures. The campaign was a wild success. Millions of women were at work, Rosies as they were called, breaking the traditional gender molds. Many working outside the home for the very first time, where they were often met with prejudices.
Women scare me. At least they do in a factory.
Well, maybe the women are scared too, Joe.
But these prejudices would prove unfounded, as Rosies in factories all over the country armed the Allies all the way to absolute victory.
Hands starting machines, hands pulling levers, hands grimy with oil and grease, hands doing intricate jobs, hands working for America. Women's hands. From machining to shipping, women have so efficiently played the dominant role in making this turbo supercharger that American aviators today are able to fly higher and faster than their enemies. These girls are proud to have a share in making possible aircraft performance unequaled anywhere in the world.
What these women accomplished on behalf of the war effort knows no precedent. A service demonstrating that defense of country requires much more than a military. And while Rosie the Riveter is intensely emblematic of the era, what she represents, her "We can do it" motto, has never strayed from relevancy.